everybody, I'm back. And today we're doing something a little different on our Nails Novels and Nonfiction Day. It is our first nonfiction book. If you're new here, welcome to the Nail Coven. Today I am going to be removing my acrylic nails, get my fingertips ready for my next new full set. I'm very excited for that. That's coming. We're also going to be discussing our first nonfiction book. We're going to be summarizing and discussing YouTube Secrets by Cannell and Benji Travis. So yeah, let's discuss this. It's very interesting, and there was actually some useful information in this. But first, we gotta do a lot of filing, get this acrylic off so that we can soak off the rest and it'll be nice and easy. That's what I like. Easy. So I picked this book up because, as I've mentioned on here before, I am working on growing my YouTube channel. I came across the author's YouTube channel, which I will link below. The title of their channel is YouTube Influencers. And they had mentioned the book on in one of their videos, so I thought, hey, that sounds interesting. I will check it out. Went on Amazon, got it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I am not usually satisfied by these kinds of books. I have read many books, not just books on, about YouTube, but about promotion of your business or whatever in general before, and I feel like it's kind of a lot of the same information. Post on your social media, blah, blah, blah. It's like, duh, I know that. I need more specifics. And I feel like there was a lot of that in this. So I was pleasantly surprised. The book is in two parts. First part one, is on strategy. And the authors talk about the 7 C's. And they are courage, clarity, channel, content, community, cash, and consistency. These are the essential building blocks for a successful channel. Now, chapter 1 is on courage. A lot of people want to do YouTube, but they have 2 fears. And that is judgment or, hate, comments, and just people being mean online. We all know how it can be sometimes. The other fear is basically the fear of failure. Like, what if I put in all this time and then it doesn't go anywhere? And I look like an idiot for thinking that I could actually do something successful. So the author talks about finding your why. Why are you doing YouTube in the first place? And having a why will keep you focused on your reasons for starting your YouTube channel when people are mean or when it feels like nobody's paying attention. To find your why, you can ask yourself, who do you want to educate, inspire, entertain? Keeping those people in mind when you are getting bad comments or it feels like nobody's watching, that will keep you motivated. Another way to stay courageous is to surround yourself with supportive people, whether that's friends and family or online groups or other YouTube channels that you watch. This will keep you motivated and remind you of your vision. You should write down these motivations and keep them somewhere where you see them a lot, just as a constant reminder. At the end of the day, Even if no one else is going to be encouraging and helpful, you can encourage and be helpful to yourself. I mean, hey, sometimes we need to be our own biggest fans, especially in the beginning. So chapter 2 is on clarity. So to get some clarity, you can ask yourself some questions. What is my goal for being on YouTube? Is it to drive sales to my business? Is it to grow a community around a cause? Is it just a creative outlet? You just feel like you want to be on YouTube, but you're not really sure why. You can use the 3 P's. You would build your YouTube at the intersection of passion, proficiency, and profit. This is your niche, where those 3 things come together. Now you need to get clarity on who you're doing these things for. Who is your target audience? And who is your content intended for? You should ask yourself, how old are they? What are their hobbies? Their interests? Where do they come from? The smaller and more narrowed your target audience in the beginning, the faster your channel will grow. Now you need to get clarity on what you will offer them and how often. Are you going to entertain them? Are you going to educate them, inspire them? And how often are you going to do this? Once a week? Twice a week? Once a month? It's different for everybody because, you know, everybody has different life commitments. It's also good practice to create an elevator pitch for your channel. If nothing else, it's a good way for you to get clarity for yourself. If you can explain it in a few sentences, it should be easier to come up with content and what to do with that content once it's published. And it's also great to have one prepared just in case you run into the right people or you just meet someone who's interested in what you're doing. You want to figure out what your target audience is searching for on YouTube. And then you want to try to provide those answers through your video content. So chapter 3 is on the channel itself, setting it up, etc. Most of this is self-explanatory. I think most of us who are watching YouTube kind of know how it works, at least for the most part, the basics. When creating your own channel, you need to come up with a name. Now this name will depend on, again, what your goal is with the channel. If you are using YouTube for a personal brand, for just yourself, then your own name is perfectly acceptable and probably the best way to go. If you're using the channel to promote a brand or a company like I am, then you should use that company's name. You also need to select an avatar, a little picture next to your name. This again is pretty easy to come up with. If it's your personal brand you're using YouTube for, then it's probably a headshot of you. If it's your company, then probably going to use your company logo. Then there's the cover art, that little banner at the top of the page. It should be something eye-catching and clear. It's kind of where you make your first impressions when people land on your YouTube profile. First impressions are very important. We all know that, whether that's in person or online. There's also a place up at the top of your YouTube profile where you can link your other social media, and you're going to want to do that just again to grow not just your YouTube but all your other social media profiles as well. Kind of all will probably grow all together. It's not just one plant, it's a garden. You also need to fill out your about page. I think this is something I need to do. This is where you're going to introduce yourself and you're going to state what the channel is about, what people can expect on your channel, and why it will help them and what value it provides them. And in this section, when you're talking about your channel, you actually want to use the word you more than me. You want to let them know what's in it for them, not just talk about yourself. No one cares about you, especially in the beginning, honestly. They want to know what's in it for them. This is also a place where you can link your emails, just in case, you know, anyone wants to get a hold of you for any amazing opportunities that are going to come your way because you're working so hard on your YouTube channel. Now, chapter 4 is about the actual content that you'll be creating, and your focus should be on value from day one. Now, value can be news or information, entertainment, education, inspiration and motivation, or connection and community. And the most successful channels actually have all of these things going for them. How often should you upload your content? Now, with YouTube, according to this book, more is better, but only if you can still deliver on the quality and value. More important than frequency is consistency. So it would be better to upload once a month, every month, than some weeks uploading every day, and then some none, and then some two. You know what I'm saying? Like, less is more if it's still consistent. This book says that YouTube seems to reward those that upload 2 to 3 times a week. Again, as long as the content is of high quality and value, delivering something to your target audience consistently. Now, when we talk about value and quality, we're talking about the content, what your video is about, not necessarily the production value. You can have the best production value, the most expensive cameras, best studio, but if the information you're delivering is not helpful or not entertaining, then who cares, right? The book suggests starting with what you have, even if it's, you know, just a smartphone, perfectly acceptable, and then improving on your production quality as you go, or as you need. Okay, we got quite a bit of the acrylic off. I'm going to trim these a little, just so we don't have to, oh, I forgot one. Never mind, keep going here. Now I'm gonna try. So now, chapter 5 is on community. And your community starts with your subscribers and also your social media. Now, what if you literally have 0 subscribers? Well, start with the people in your real life. Reach out to them, let them know what you're doing. If they're your friend, they will probably be interested and want to subscribe. Or you could just straight up ask them, hey, could you help me out so I don't look like I have no subscribers by giving my channel a subscribe. Most people are on YouTube and all they have to do is hit a button. Doesn't cost them nothing. Also build your community by just participating in the community. Leaving comments on other people's channels that, you know, are relative and valuable, not just spamming people. Also, if anyone comments on your videos, make sure and reply to them. The more activity on a video, the more engaging the algorithm assumes it is and will up its ranking. Okay, I'm going to run a file over these just to get off a little bit of gel polish I couldn't get off, and then to kind of warm them up so that when I put the acetone on, it'll eat it faster. So chapter 6 was called Cash, and this was on, you know, monetization. I didn't spend a lot of time in this chapter simply because I'm not really concerned with that right now. I'm not worried about like making money on YouTube. I'm more concerned with building my audience, building my community, and just delivering value right now. Basically, it boils down how you can make money on YouTube with a few things. And that's ads, obviously, affiliate marketing, where companies will give you a link to put in your description box to products that you show in your video. And then when people want to buy that item and they go through the link in your description, you get a commission. You can sell your own product or service if you have a business, or even if you don't. I guess if you're just a personal brand, I'm sure you could come up with a product or service to offer. You can also do free product trades with companies, like, you know, someone who maybe has a channel about travel or dining could offer to make, you know, a video about a restaurant and get their meal comped. Another way is through crowdfunding. If you have a large enough audience, you can start like a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or something like that, and people can contribute money to whatever it is that you're doing. There's also events and speaking engagements. There's brand sponsorship, where a brand will pay you money to talk about their product. And then you can also license your content out to production companies or like for third-party video companies. This would be like really probably ideal for someone who's doing like a travel channel, and then you could just use your content to sell as B-roll. Wrap these up now, acetone and foil. Now wrap our fingers like little baked potatoes. Now, chapter 7 is on consistency. You need to be consistent. It's very, very important on YouTube. YouTube needs to know they can rely on you for revenue, really, so that the more videos you have consistently, the more chances they have to put ads on your videos, and they make money as well. One of the keys to staying consistent is to have a schedule and to do batch production. So filming a bunch of videos at once or in one day. That way, everything's, I mean, your equipment's already all set up. You have to break it down, put it back together, unless you're fortunate enough to have like a studio that's always set up for you and you can kind of just go in there when you're feeling inspired. I would love to have that someday. But if you're like me, you're limited on space in your little 2-bedroom place. So I have to set it up and then break it down when I'm done using it. Otherwise, it's in the way. Now, how often do you upload? Talked about this a little bit, but basically the answer is as often as you can while still delivering value. And again, like we've mentioned before, 2 to 3 times a week is kind of what the algorithm rewards. Okay, we're gonna leave these on. I always do one hand at a time because I have to have at least one hand free. I can't just sit there paralyzed. So 10 minutes for these. I forgot my timer, so I'm gonna go get it. See, if I had a studio set up all the time, I wouldn't forget anything. Like I'm always, at least forget one thing a video when I have to get up and it's right. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, back to what we were talking about. So that was part 1. Now we're gonna get into part 2, which is tactics. Chapter 8 is on social media. One way to utilize social media to help build your YouTube following is to first grow a following on your other social media platforms. That way, when you start your YouTube channel, your followers will kind of just migrate over there too. This is something I wish I would have done more consciously. Did it a little bit, but I was just excited to get started making videos, so I kind of just was like, I'm starting. And I'm glad I did. I'm having fun, so that's okay. So you want to choose 1 or 2 social media platforms where your target audience is. I'm going to spend most of your time focused on those 1 or 2, really get to know the application, what it likes, play by their rules for the most part, I suppose, and you should get rewarded. Another way to grow your social media following that will then convert over to YouTube is to comment and participate on the influencers that you follow on their profiles, commenting on their posts, and having conversations with other people that are also following them. So if you see a comment on one of an influencer that you admire and like, reply to that person from a genuine place, of course, and start up a conversation that might lead into an actual relationship. And then that person might start following you, and then again might follow you over to your YouTube. Chapter 9 is on discoverability. Now, when you're talking about discoverability, you're basically talking about SEO, or search engine optimization. So it was very interesting that the second most used search engine besides Google is YouTube. Very interesting. So when people just want to learn about something, find out some information, if they don't go to Google, which is where most people go, they go to YouTube. That's a lot of people. So the most important aspects of your SEO is your title, the description, and the tags that you use. One of the easiest ways to figure out what your target audience is searching for on YouTube is to use the search bar. Go to the search bar, and it has, like, when you start to type something, it'll kind of like finish your sentence for you and give you some options. Go there and put in, you know, what is your channel going to be about? My channel's about nails. So I put in nails, and then it'll predict the rest of that search. So nails acrylic, nails gel, and then search those videos and see which videos are getting a lot of views on that subject. And then you can kind of tailor your videos to benefit from that metadata. You want to make sure that your title, the description, and the tags you use actually address a specific issue or question or search term. So with me, nails, I need to make sure that nails, the word nails, or acrylic nails, or gel nails, are in the title and the description and the tags. And this needs to start from your very first video. Now, that being said, the best SEO tactics aren't going to make up for a bad video. If you say your video is going to show you how to do something, then it needs to. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Let's take these off and see how they look. Starting to crumble. Scrape these. And then I'm going to use a 180 grit file to kind of get off a little more of the acrylic. Something kind of satisfying about scraping off the acrylic. Been soaking in acetone. I don't know what it is. I get satisfaction from it. Now, chapter 10 was on collaborations. I don't know what a collaboration is. It's where two creators of anything really come together and work on one project. You can think of collaborations kind of like referrals. Like if a person that you trust tells you that, you know, this artist is cool or the show is good, you're more likely to check it out than if you just kind of came across it yourself. That's kind of what a collaboration will do. It tells that person's audience that they think you're worth following too, and that they can deliver value to you too. Something really important that you have to remember though when looking for someone to collaborate with is your brands have to align. I know it can be tempting to try and collaborate with someone just because they have a lot of followers. But if they have a lot of followers that don't care about what you're doing, what's the point? They're not going to follow you. It'd be better to work with someone who has less followers, but the ones that they do have would probably more likely be into what you're doing. I kind of learned this the hard way when I first opened my nail salon. I wanted to have some, like well-known people come in and get their nails done and then post about it on their Instagram. I did it with a girl, I'm not gonna say who. You'll figure it out by looking at my Instagram. I had one girl come in and it was awesome. Like, it totally worked. I got I went from having no followers on my Instagram to having, I think I got 200 in one day. And then, over time I got more even from the same person. I thought, wow, that really worked. So then I reached out to someone who had 1 million followers. Like, the girl before, I think she had probably 100,000. And so I figured, oh man, if I can reach out to someone who has 1 million followers, imagine what that could do, right? No, that's not what happened with this person. And I went back and I looked at their Instagram, and most of this person's Instagram followers were men. Kind of this is gonna come out wrong, so I'll just say it. But macho men, you know what I mean? Not the kind of men that would be interested in getting their nails done. The brands did not align, and it didn't translate into more followers for me. So it was kind of not just a waste of time, but a waste of my product and my service on this person. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I'm brand new. Why would someone with an established brand and a lot of followers want to collaborate with me? It's obvious what's in it for me, but what's in it for them? And what's in it for them is the value that you can bring to their content and to their channel. So when you're reaching out, make sure to come from a place where you want to provide something for them. They'll understand, they'll know what you're doing. They should get something out of it too. It's not something that, even if they wanted to, they probably don't have the time to just do something out of the kindness of their heart. That would be awesome. But most of us, we can't do that for everybody. But you can make time if there's going to be some value brought to you. Okay, so I got almost all the acrylic off in that first wrapping. Not the thumb so much though. So we're going to do the thumb again. Warm it up again. Now, people with big followings are, like I said, usually pretty busy people. And if you reach out to them, they probably get a lot of messages. So it's a good chance they probably won't even see your message. So you want to check back in with them. But you don't want to be stalky either. This book said a good rule of thumb is to reach out, maybe once a quarter or twice a year, something like that. Just, make sure that they saw your message. Or who knows, maybe they passed on the opportunity once, but after a year or two, seeing that you've grown and that you have brought value, maybe they'll change their mind. It's also good to look for channels that are approximately about the same size as you as far as followers go. This is a lot less intimidating for people. It's a lot more of an even exchange, and it can be easier to find people who want to collaborate. Now, another way to kind of get a collaboration with a larger influencer is to ask for an interview. This is easy for them because there isn't a whole lot of work involved besides just answering some questions. It's also helpful for them because they get a little bit of exposure depending on your channel size and what your channel is about. Another good way to find people who want to collaborate is in Facebook groups. There's, millions of Facebook groups where artists are coming together, people in the same industry, and they're looking to promote their stuff as well. Chapter 11 is on trends and temples. I think we all know what a trend is. It's something that's very popular at the moment, whether it's in, the news and pop culture, online, stuff like challenges or, something that's fashionable at the moment. And then a tentpole is like events or days that come around yearly. It's called a tentpole because of the graph that it creates on interest as far as like people searching certain terms. So Christmas, on a certain time of year, people start looking into things. They're thinking about the holidays that are coming up. And then the interest goes up and up and up. And then it peaks probably on Christmas Day. And then after that, people searching for that topic goes down until nothing. Christmas isn't the only tentpole. There are tons of holidays, national days, there's industry-specific days, and you can take advantage of this by creating content around the terms that people will be searching around those days or about those trends. Okay, now chapter 12 is on building your team. Everyone needs a team. Everyone needs somebody in their corner that's helping them out. And we're not just talking about, hiring people. Most people's team already consists of their family and friends. I think most people's family and friends are supportive people. Maybe they don't understand what you're doing, but I'm sure they're more than willing to, help out as far as, even if it's just, helping out a little bit more around the house so that you can have time to create your content. Maybe it's sharing your content on their social media. Maybe it's liking and commenting on your videos. Okay, we got all the acrylic off on this hand. We're gonna buff these. Now, once you got things going and you've got some support from your family and things are starting to take off a little, probably what most of us need next after that is just more help with time, stuff that takes up our time, like housework and errands and lawn work, stuff like that. And it's very easy to find people to hire to do those types of things. I know the second I can, I am hiring someone to clean my house. I don't like cleaning my house. That's not true. I don't mind cleaning my house. But I would rather spend time making videos. There's also like outsourcing apps like Fiverr, where you can find very affordable rates, people to do things, anything from, business stuff, literal stuff that directly impacts your YouTube channel, and to people who can do those things we just talked about for you. Stuff around the house, errands. Then beyond that, there's also coaching and consulting. This is actually something that I've recently decided to invest in. Started working with a social media consultant. I meet with her once a week and I get to ask questions, and she's helping me put together an action plan to accomplish my goals, not just with YouTube, but with my business as a whole. And I'm very excited. Had my first session with her and I loved it. It was very valuable, completely worth the money. Okay, moving on to this hand now. Now the last chapter was called Think Differently. It was about standing out from the crowd. How to set yourself apart from other channels. Now, this doesn't mean you can't do channels, or you can't have a channel that is about something that someone else is already doing. That's not what he's saying. There's millions of channels out there. I'm sure somebody is doing the same thing that you want to do. But how is yours going to be different from theirs? even though it's about the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The most obvious difference is you, your personality, what you bring to the channel, your sense of humor, your perspective on things. So if there is a subject that you want to do on your channel, but maybe you feel like that subject's been done to death, or that it's oversaturated on YouTube, think about what you can bring to it that's different. A great way to do this is to combine two things. It's probably the easiest way to make your channel different than someone else's, even if you're covering the same subject material. What are two things that you like? One of the things that I'm doing now, I don't know that I'm the only person doing this. I'm sure I'm not. I personally have not seen anything like it, but on Wednesdays, I do my Nails Novels and Nonfiction series. Today, right? So I do my nails and I talk about the latest book I've read, because those are two things that I really love. And I know that I'm not the only one. Okay, 10 more minutes. Another way to have your channel stand out from everyone else's is to address something that nobody else is addressing, which is hard to find. But think about your life. Is there something in your life that you need an answer to, that you need help with, that nobody's providing? You should be the one to provide it. I'm sure you're not the only one in this whole wide world that has that problem or that issue or needs that information or would like that kind of entertainment. So yeah, that was the end of the book. I think what I took away the most from this was consistency in delivering value and quality, even if it means posting less. When I first started this channel, I was like, I'm gonna post every day, and I'm close to that. I've been doing this seriously for a little over a month, and I've done that for the most part. I've skipped a day here and there. I also realized that it's extremely challenging to post every day. So I scaled back a little bit and now focusing on the value that I bring when I do upload. My goal is at least 3 times a week. Then at the end of this book, there is an appendix with more resources to help you. Lots of very specific questions there that they answer. There's a lot of examples of YouTubers and their journeys in this book, which is very insightful, and I enjoyed hearing those stories. So yeah, I think if you're someone who's just starting their YouTube journey, I think this book would be valuable to you. I'm glad I purchased it. I'm glad I read it. And I do think it's going to help me. So yeah, that was YouTube Secrets by Cannell? Sorry, Sean. And Benji Travis. If you're someone who is just starting on YouTube, building your channel, or if you're someone who's already established, leave me a comment. Let me know your tips and tricks for building your YouTube channel, because you can never have too much information on this type of thing, especially because, stuff like social media, anything on the internet really changes very rapidly. So maybe some of the information in this book could have been outdated. It didn't seem like it. I'm not exactly sure when it was written, but it definitely still seemed relevant. So yeah, I am very excited to continue on my YouTube journey. I've been watching YouTube for years, I don't know, at least 5 years, where I've just been like watching on a daily basis. I actually don't even have cable anymore. I actually don't watch regular TV. I pretty much only watch YouTube and, Disney Plus, of course. Some of my favorite YouTube channels are Disney related, of course. I love Best Life and Beyond. They are my favorite Disney YouTubers. I will link their channel below. If you like Disneyland parks, you're gonna like this one. I also watch The Daily Woo. He has lots of Disney content, but lots of other things too. Lots of road trips, filming locations, history, interesting stuff. Then, of course, I love my makeup YouTubers. I love Bailey Sarian, Mickey Tutorials, all the good ones. Glam and Gore. I love Christy Micken. I don't know what happened with her. She has her own YouTube channel now. She used to do the Nails channel, but now she's on a different channel by her name. Still great content. Still love her. Another nail YouTuber I watch is V Nailed It. I love, I'll get up in the mornings, get my tea, and turn her on. And that's how I start my day. Gets me in a good mindset for creating beautiful nails. Okay, let's check on these. Look at all that. So satisfying. Okay, just a little bit left on these. I'll trim them up some. Now that they're thinner, I can get a little bit more off. I just need to wrap a little bit of this, just a tiny bit there, a little bit on my thumb. Hold on, I gotta get the dog a treat. See, that's why I can only do one hand at a time, because there would be no way I could get that package open with both my hands wrapped. Okay, got all that acrylic off now. Oops, gotta pause my show. Got all that acrylic off now. We're going to buff these. Just left a teeny tiny bit on the thumb, but I don't want to wrap it again, so everything else is off. That'll grow out by the time I'm ready for my next set. Okay, everything is off. Going to finish up with a little cuticle oil. Massage it in. Ugh, feels so weird not to have nails on. Okay, all done. My fingers are ready for their next full set. We will be doing that next week. So yeah, I'm set. My fingers are set. My YouTube strategy is set and ready to go. It was a good, productive day. You should be proud of yourself. If you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content to make. Make sure and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so that you'll know when I upload new videos. You're not going to want to miss what I'm going to be doing next. If my shirt is any kind of an indication. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!